The Biskinik of Choctaw folklore told the people of the good news across the land.
We continue our tradition
of spreading faith, family, and culture.
CHAHTA athihaya tikba mahayaka, iwakaya cha, anopa achukmaho, ilishtafama.
As our Choctaw people move into the future,
we rise and meet them with the good news.
This is Biskinik.
Our earliest ancestors were farmers and the most productive agricultural producers in the Southeast. Cultural foods using corn, fruit, poke salad, wild onions, and many others were a means of survival. Today, our traditional foods reconnects us with our ancestors and reaffirms our tribal sovereignty, as well as providing community and fellowship amongst our Choctaw people.
We are a federally funded program that provides food for income-eligible families. It's primarily a low-income program. We're supposed to be a supplemental food program, but for many of our tribal members, we're their primary source of food. For each family member, we provide approximately 80 pounds of what we consider low-fat, nutritious foods for consumption in the household. Initially, in the beginning of this program, we did what we call tailgating, where we loaded up the boxes like you might see here in the warehouse and took them out on a truck and then handed out food to our clients. Chief Batten felt that it was much better to give our tribal members just a better feeling to be able to go shop for yourself rather than us handing you the food, off of the back of the truck. We've tried to, strategically set everything up where we're centrally located in various parts of the tribal nation so that people can travel to those. All of our food has to be come from the United States, has to be low in sodium, low in fat, just generally a nutritious type food. This program is just critically important to a lot of our people because we really feel like a lot of our people would go hungry if it weren't for this program.
The opening of the earth and the planting of the seeds was considered to be a spiritual act. The seeds planted would grow into food for communities, providing nutrients for survival in the next year. Special dances were performed in preparation, and family members worked together to get the seeds in the ground. Communal fields were also planted. Every able-bodied person was expected to help and plant this field that benefited all, embracing the ideas of working together as a community for a common goal. After the Trail of Tears, the agricultural life of the Choctaw people changed drastically as they were forced to plant and harvest in a new land. They had to leave behind their cultivated land and way of life to start over again.
I started in 2007. I recently lost weight, 150 pounds, and so I decided to go ahead and go to school and teach nutrition. It was very important to me. Because of Choctaw Nation, they helped me go through school. I got my bachelor's in science, nutrition, and a concentration of dietetics. My responsibilities is we have 5 stores, and I go to each of the stores twice a month. Then I go on Wednesdays, I go to Spiro. Choctaw Nation is known that we only use all commodities in every one of my recipes. I am currently writing a cookbook. I have 250 plus recipes, only using commodities. It's not a supplemental program for a lot of people, so we don't want them to have to go buy a bunch of things to do the recipes. Also, my recipes go into the Biskinik.
I think it started over the other building. It's where we was at, and yeah, we just inner talkings with the tribal members because everybody's really friendly, and so it always helps to be personal with people. And she's talking about her class that she does, And so it was interesting because you run out of ideas with a certain amount of food that you get. And she tries to make it healthy for us. Well, you've got the online things that you can look for, which is easy recipes, but then again, you don't get a chance to try them out and test them and make sure, and that's what she's good for. And she tries them out and she sees what works and what's healthy for people. And so we can do something different with what food we get.
And with our program and our products, that's our whole intention, is to get them back in the kitchen and get them back to the roots. And that's even growing their own produce.
With all of the changes and hardships of the past, we have now developed all sorts of farms, providing a wide variety of healthy food options for our tribal members. The Choctaw Nation Agricultural Outreach Program recently developed the Growing Hope Project. This project is aimed to improve the tribe's access to healthier food options and increase our self-reliance to feed our people. The greenhouse in Tuskahoma was built to preserve our Choctaw traditional crops and to create a stable seed bank. Interested tribal members will have the opportunity to grow traditional crops in their own home to feed their families and to keep our ancestral heritage at the root.
I started using the food distribution, this is the third year, maybe the fourth year. I was working besides my income, the fixed income that I had, I was also working, so I didn't need the help. And then when I quit working the part-time job, I needed the help, so very little do I have to buy. I buy because I want, not because I need. They have all the protein that you need, all the meat you need. You can get it canned or frozen. They have the fruits, they have the vegetables, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables. Also canned vegetables and fruit if you don't have a place to store the fresh ones. You can have the canned ones. It's a well-balanced variety of stuff that you can get. You do not have to worry about lacking in anything. There's families that would not be able to eat if it wasn't for the commodities. When you get down in the southeast corner of Oklahoma, very few jobs, so there's not a great opportunity for people to get out and work like they do, if that's the reason they move off from here. But there's a lot of families that, if they did not have commodities, could not eat as well as they do with the commodities.
Years ago, we lived off the land, growing what we needed to survive. Today, health and wellness is a huge concern as we have an abundance of food with a lot of unhealthy, easy choices. With the investment in greenhouses to grow our traditional crops, programs to promote our farmers and agricultural lifestyle, and education to make healthy choices, we can provide better food options and change the wellness of our tribe.
It's the Preserving Choctaw Culture by Growing Hope project, and it's a community food project that's funded by USDA and a NEFA grant. And basically what it does is this grant is allowing us to grow heirloom crops in a safe environment that will help us collect a seed bank that we're going to be able to give out to tribal members who are interested in growing those crops and hopefully have a more sustainable food option available to them. The other greenhouses are seasonal hoop houses. This one allows us to monitor the irrigation systems, how much water our plants are getting. It allows us to have set points on our temperature to control the temperature inside the greenhouse, whether it's hot or cold outside, and that gives all of our plants a better growing environment. The hope is to give our tribal members the opportunity to grow their own food because we are in a food desert and this is a promised zone area and that people have to travel more than 10 miles for food. We're hoping that this gives them the ability to get the seed, take it home, provide a fresher, healthier food option to their family. Also helps in the health risks that we are, as Native Americans, are facing. Some of our crops have not been grown for years. And so as a Choctaw, it's important to me because, you know, it's our heritage and it's part of our culture, and it's special because I have my hands directly in it trying to, you know, revive these, you know, specific crops. I want to see people not be hungry in this area. I mean, we're in the heart of Choctaw Nation and people are hungry. And as great of a nation as we are, that's just a socioeconomic problem that we have. And so, you know, giving them something like, hey, you are able to go home and do this yourself, I think that will give them a lot of sustainability in themselves.
It is a known fact that food brings everyone together. The Choctaw Nation is invested in providing a stable, fresh farm market to help feed our families and reconnects us with our ancestral heritage while building our self-reliance. This has been Biskinik. Hashimintipa I Chapinsa Chiki.